What's going on, everybody? It's the Bulls Show, aka Aidan, and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be discussing and bringing to you guys another episode of Chicago Bulls Weekly, where we look at the previous results for the Chicago Bulls, discuss the strengths, discuss the weaknesses, give out awards for that week or for that preseason in this case, and then obviously discuss the week ahead for the Chicago Bulls, which is the start of the regular season, which is the beginning of a lot of the success and potential failures the Chicago Bulls may see throughout the season. Fingers crossed, we're going to see a lot of wins throughout this week and throughout the regular season. Before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bulls Show, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls preseason, as well as what to look forward to ahead of the Chicago Bulls regular season. So, let's talk about the 4 preseason games, with the first one being against the New Orleans Pelicans. Now, in my eyes, it was great to see Zion Williamson play in this game. I know I'm not a Pelicans fan, but just an NBA fan in general. To see a guy of that quality back on the court again after the amount of time that he actually had off, it was very, very entertaining watch, in all honesty, and he actually played very well against the Chicago Bulls team, as did the entire New Orleans Pelicans team. They looked a step ahead. They looked like they had their chemistry in place. They ran. They did everything right against the Chicago Bulls. And yes, the guys that didn't get enough opportunities on this team, did not get enough minutes on this team, fought their way back and managed to make this game close. But the Bulls lost this game 129 to 125, and that was our only loss in preseason. Now, at the end of the day, there was a lot to hate about that game, but it's also the first game of the preseason, so I'm sure a lot of people are confused about where to place this game and what this game actually entails for when it actually matters. So we'll move on into the next one, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lot of unknowns from that Pelicans game. We don't know why we were the way that we were, committed all the turnovers that we did, and stuff like that. But the game against Denver was much better. Now, this is obviously a Denver game without Nikola Jokic, but we still managed to win this game in very good fashion, 131 to 113. This is the game that I think many Bulls fans look to for the hope of the regular season. Our offense in this game was spectacular, and it's not just because the shots were going in or that we actually had a very good field goal percentage and stuff like that. That's obviously great to see, and scoring 131 points in any game is phenomenal. And I think a lot of teams aspire to do that every single night. But for the Bulls' perspective, it was how we moved. It was the off-ball movements. It was the cuts. It was the screens. It was the randomness. It was unpredictable. The Denver Nuggets defense could not stop what the Chicago Bulls actually was able to provide. And although we saw a little bit of stagnation from there, although DeMar DeRozan keyed it up and we kind of went to DeMar DeRozan pretty much from then on in the second half, I think a lot of people look at that game and say, that's the type of game I want to see the Chicago Bulls play in the regular season. I want to see off-ball cuts. I want to see random plays. I want to see us be as unpredictable as possible. I want to see good playmaking. And that game really showed that for the Chicago Bulls. So that was an extremely positive game. And then we moved to the Toronto Raptors game. A game that was extremely competitive. A game we had to scratch, claw, compete, hustle, and also a DeMar DeRozan stellar performance, and we managed to win this game 115 to 98. Don't let the score fool you. This was an extremely competitive game, and Toronto came at us with a point to prove. They're going to be one of our biggest competitions in the regular season. Just as much as anybody in the East, Toronto has a place to fight for. So it's a very interesting game with the Toronto Raptors. They brought Scotty Barnes and Pascal at the center position. They played extremely small. They tried to beat you with physicality. They made sure everybody worked together and worked very hard on the defensive end. They all attacked the glass. They all attacked the paint. And that was a very good Toronto Raptors performance, but the Bulls managed to find a way to win, which is always positive. DeMar DeRozan was fantastic. Javonte Green was fantastic. Vucevic played a factor. Andre Drummond with a 9-9 night. Fantastic to see for the Bulls' perspective. And it was definitely a game where it could have probably not went our way if certain things didn't happen. But at the end of the day, we won the game, and I'm very thankful for that. And of course, all that game really shows is that the Bulls have something to prove, and the Bulls can still walk away with wins after disappointing halves. And Toronto's side of things, they're definitely not a team to be taken lightly. Then the game against the Milwaukee Bucks, where we won this game 127-104. There's not a lot to talk about in relation to this game, in all honesty. Again, Milwaukee did not play anywhere near the best lineup they possibly could. And even the Bulls did not have Zach Levine, nor did they have DeMar DeRozan in this game. So I feel like a lot of people won't take much out of that game. It's just extra fitness. I guess, again, we saw Patrick Williams start in this game as well. We saw different lineups. We saw our bench production be good for 3 straight games in a row from that point. We saw a lot of positive things from that Milwaukee Bucks game. But at the end of the day, we take that win. You beat what's put in front of you. That's all we can do, and that's what we ended up doing. And I'm sure many Bulls fans are happy that we beat the Milwaukee Bucks. But we need to also wait and see what would happen when our best lineup can match their best lineup and see where we go from there. That is going to be an interesting story. But you still got to beat what's put in front of you. Now let's move on into the awards, ladies and gentlemen. We give out the must improve of the preseason, the 6th man of the preseason, and the player of the preseason. So 3 awards there, ladies and gentlemen, with the first one not being the good one. I'm going to give it to Zach Levine. For me, it's between Zach Levine and Patrick Williams. I've got to be honest, those are the 2 guys that I'm looking at and saying those guys need to improve heading into the regular season. Now, Zach Levine was more disappointing for a variety of reasons. 1, I don't think he was as aggressive as he could have been. 2, he was a bit slow, a step slower than everybody else. And 3, I think he left us with a lot of concern. Now, Zach Levine, in terms of the contract that he paid, the level of performances that he showed in preseason was not very good to see. And I'm not saying that the preseason will define the regular season. I'm not saying that Zach Levine sucking in preseason means that Zach Levine's going to suck in the regular season. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I do fear that a lot of people will be worried about what Zach Levine will bring to the table, which is why, in my opinion, he is the must improve of the preseason. He has to be the guy that we can turn to for a bucket. He has to be an aggressive scorer. I love when Zach Levine play makes, and I encourage him to play make more as well, because at the end of the day, a willing passer on this team can never go out of place. More passing is going to be essential for this Bulls offense, but Zach Levine still has to remain aggressive. Plays need to be called for Zach Levine. Zach Levine needs to be more of an off-ball threat, but most importantly, Zach Levine has to be aggressive, and I fear that's not exactly what we saw in the regular season. So I'm not going to, make a tangent on it or anything like that. I've stated what I think about Zach Levine's preseason, and I expect him to be the best version of himself in the regular season. That's what I think Zach Levine should expect as well. I feel like a lot of Bulls fans should expect that as well. So let's hope that's exactly what we see. The 6th man of the week is actually very interesting because, again, we saw a lot of mixed lineups. We saw Javonte Green play a game in the starting lineup. We saw Patrick Williams play 2 games in the starting lineup. We saw Derrick Jones Jr. play a game in the starting lineup. So there's a lot to look forward to there, and there's a lot of mixing and matching. But one guy that played all 4 of the games on the bench for the Chicago Bulls was Andre Drummond. And I think Andre Drummond deserves to have the 6th man of the preseason award. It's either him or Alex Caruso for me, ladies and gentlemen, because those are the consistent guys that absolutely played all their minutes off of the bench and did very, very well. I'm giving it to Andre Drummond because not only did he play his role very well, he actually did a lot of things that a lot of people never expected him to do, and he did it at a high level as well. He shot 3 threes for the Chicago Bulls against the Toronto Raptors. In my opinion, I think he got a block in every single one of the games in preseason except for maybe one of them. I can't remember which one it was. But 3 out of the 4 games, he got at least 1 block in that game. He facilitated well. He got to the free throw line and made some buckets. He did a lot of great things for the Chicago Bulls, and in my opinion, he's going to be key for the Bulls going forward in the regular season. And I know he's a new player, and I know many people will turn to Caruso or even Javonte Green and say, that guy should get the 6th man of the preseason award. But for one reason or another, I really believe it is Andre Drummond, and I think Andre Drummond is going to be very essential for the Chicago Bulls this year. And I'm excited to see what he can bring to the table when Vucevic is on the bench. But you might be wondering about Javonte Green. You might be saying, why did Javonte Green not get the 6th man of the preseason award? Well, because he's going to get the Player of the Season award, ladies and gentlemen. I know Vucevic was outstanding, DeMar DeRozan was solid, but Javonte Green has once again shined for the Chicago Bulls. It's been 2 straight years in a row now where we're discussing Javonte Green in the starting lineup. And one of them, Patrick Williams, came off of an injury into the preseason. He played in preseason, but he didn't necessarily do the greatest things, and people wanted Javonte Green to start. Now, Patrick Williams ended up starting last year. He got injured from a wrist injury, out for the majority of the season. preseason, Javonte Green starts. This time, there's no excuse for any of them. Patrick Williams came into this team in the preseason as the starter, and now we're seeing Javonte Green being discussed as the starting power forward for the Chicago Bulls. People want to see it happen. That's 2 straight years in a row now. So that's not necessarily a downfall on Patrick Williams, even though some people might think it is. That's up to you. It just shows to me how good Javonte Green has been and how much he's improved from when he first came to the Chicago Bulls, when he first played on the Boston Celtics as well, to obviously where he is now, where people want him to start, where people love what he brings, where we need him in certain situations on this team. It's absolutely beautiful to see. So Javonte Green was outstanding in preseason. I think it's an easy choice to give it to him because, again, not many people expected that from Javonte Green coming into this preseason, yet he still found a way to deliver it to the Chicago Bulls. We got 3 games, I should say, to look forward to in the regular season. This is where it all begins, ladies and gentlemen, and hopefully we'll have a good start to the regular season, with the first game coming against the Miami Heat away from home. This is the big game. This is the game that most Bulls fans will be looking forward to and excited about. And I'm obviously very excited about it as well. And I hope the Bulls can walk away with a very positive start to the regular season. Walk away with a very big win against a very big opposition. We did not beat the Miami Heat last year. Let's hope that, theme does not carry over to this regular season game. And let's hope we can start off positively. And let's hope we can actually have Miami start very poorly, because I think that's the aim in every single first game of the season. Then we've got another away game against the Washington Wizards. I have a lot of people that are not necessarily too hyped about this Washington Wizards team right now. I think from what I've seen on Twitter and social media about the Wizards, they're one of the more interesting stories because I don't think a lot of people know where they're going to finish. But I can guarantee you that there are not a lot of people very confident about this Wizards side. I think they lost a lot of role players. I don't think they have the best starting 5 either, but they do have some dangerous players there where if they do catch fire, the Bulls could be in trouble. So the Bulls better bring it defensively this game. I think offensively we can match a team like the Washington Wizards. But if we let those guys catch fire, we let Porzingis score a bunch of points, easy points, we let Bradley Beal do what Bradley Beal can usually do, we will be in danger in this game. We got to keep them quiet, and then we can obviously play our offensive game the way that we know how. But then we got a back-to-back. The first back-to-back is coming in the first week, ladies and gentlemen, and it's going to be against the Cleveland Cavaliers, a team that many people are going to be looking at if you're a Chicago Bulls fan. This is going to be potentially a rivalry game heading into the regular season. This could potentially be back and forth. Cleveland have done very good things. They're obviously got Donovan Mitchell now. They're looking to go and take a step further in terms of their NBA career, and so are the Chicago Bulls. So this is going to be a great game in my opinion, a game to look out for, a game that many people are excited about, and wait and see what the results will be. But this could potentially be a team that we're looking at and we're trying to compete with every step of the way. So it's not going to be an easy game by any stretch of the means, but the Bulls have to find a way to win. This will also be our first game in the United Center in the regular season as well. So the Bulls better be up and ready for that and bring the home crowd in the first game of the regular season something to remember. And we'll wait and see if they can do it. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. The first Bulls Weekly of the regular season, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're excited, and there will be more to come, so stay tuned for all of that. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned for more. Take care and peace.